Peace, peace, everybody. Welcome back to the platform where we connect the dots between global movements, historical context, and the communities most impacted. So, today, let's talk about a major development in global energy markets, and that is Dangote oil refinery in Nigeria. So, this $19 billion refinery, one of the largest in the world, by the way, it began its operations in 2023, and it has the capacity to produce over 650,000 barrels of crude oil per day. But there's a twist. It's not just transforming the landscape in Africa, it's shaking up markets in Europe. So, for those who don't know, historically, Europe has depended on oil mainly from the Middle East and Russia. But see, the sanctions on Russian oil due to the war in Ukraine has left the continent of Europe scrambling for alternatives. So here enters Dangote, right? Nigeria's first major move to refine its own crude means it could support or export, I should say, to Europe. This disrupts long-standing power dynamics and it chips away at the Western dominance of Western oil giants in dictating the energy flow. For Europe, this could mean relief from relying solely on the oil from the Middle East and Russia. But for Africa, African markets and people in particular, it raises some critical questions, right? Will these profits from the refinery benefit Nigeria's local economy, or will it reinforce the patterns of wealth extraction that African nations have been dealing with for centuries at this point? And we also cannot forget the environmental cost, right? So Europe benefits from the refined oil imports, and it also benefits because it no longer has to rely solely on Middle Eastern and in particularly Russian oil. However, the burden of the pollution and the ecological damage will solely stay in Nigeria. So as we unpack this, we are asking you, can Africa truly leverage its resources to uplift its people without falling into the same traps of exploitation? And what role does grassroots movements have in holding corporations like Dangote accountable, right? Because we're gonna have to have that. So just stick with us. Stick with us as we explore the broader implications of this shift in global energy markets, because it's going to be interesting and its impact on marginalized communities. Stick with us, because we're going to continue to follow this story as Nigeria continues to develop herself. We know that unfortunately, governmental corruption has plagued Nigeria for quite some time, really since independence. So it's really going to be on the grassroots organizations to apply pressure in order to hold some of these multi-billion-dollar companies accountable. On the surface level, me personally, I do see some of the positivity and the benefits of Nigeria refining its own oil. There's certainly huge impacts and benefits for Europe, so they can lessen their reliance on Russian oil. At least that's how they see it. But as we know, corruption continues to plague the country of Nigeria, and I just hope that this new revenue and the money that's coming in from this burgeoning industry will benefit the masses of the people and not just the wealthy and those at the top or the business class and the bourgeoisie. This part of me is very cautious and concerned. Another part of me is optimistic and hopeful that this will be a net positive and not a net negative, but it's going to be on the people and most certainly the grassroots movements to apply this pressure, to constantly be aware and watchful and apply pressure to ensure that these profits trickle down to the people who are the most vulnerable, who are working for it, who need it the most. So yeah, again, you're listening to the platform where we refuse to ignore the bigger picture. Until next time, stay informed, stay critical, and stay connected. Thank you for your time.